Welcome the anointed ones. Pay close attention, because sometimes the universe doesn't whisper your survival story. It throws it at you like a warning shot that somehow never lands. Chosen one, lean in, because what happened to you recently wasn't luck, coincidence, or a cute little escape story you casually tell over dinner. No. What you just walked away from was the kind of close call that would have sent an average person into early retirement from society. You didn't just dodge a bullet. You moved like someone who already read the script and refused to stand in the wrong scene. And the craziest part, you did it so naturally people probably thought you were just adjusting your jacket. Here's a fact most people don't realize. Your brain processes danger 10 times faster than your conscious mind can explain it. That means while others are still trying to figure out if something felt strange, your spirit already pushed you 3 steps to the left and said, "Not today." That's exactly what happened to you. Something aimed to hit you, physically, emotionally, spiritually. But you were so aligned, so intuitively sharp, so divinely insulated, that you swerved without even breaking your stride. It was almost cinematic. If someone replayed the moment in slow motion, you'd look like you teleported. Meanwhile, your enemies looked like they tripped over their own plot twist. And let's be honest, you didn't survive because danger missed. You survived because you operate on a frequency where danger can't deliver mail. The envelope never reaches your address. The universe stamps it, return to sender, recipient too elevated. But here's what makes this moment even wilder. You walked away calm, collected, probably wondering why the atmosphere felt weird, while the forces plotting against you were somewhere screaming into the void like villains who just watched the hero dodge the trap in episode 1. Your survival wasn't normal. It wasn't random. It wasn't accidental. It was a miracle wearing your face, walking in your shoes, carrying your heartbeat, and doing it so effortlessly, it scared the very energy that tried to stop you. So now, let's break down exactly why you're a walking miracle, and how you just dodged a bullet like it was nothing. Number 1, you didn't just dodge the bullet, you exposed the shooter's weakness. When a chosen one survives an attack, most people focus on the miracle of the escape. They talk about the timing, the protection, the grace. But what they often miss is the deeper truth. Your survival says just as much about the attacker as it does about your strength. When that bullet, whether emotional, spiritual, or literal, had missed you, it didn't just reveal your protection. It revealed their limits. You didn't just walk away unharmed. You walked away with information. People who come for you assume they understand your vulnerabilities. They assume they can predict your reactions, your fears, your soft spots. They plan based on who you were, not who you've become. By the time they make their move, you're already operating from a higher level of awareness. The attack fails not because they hesitated, but because they miscalculated. They don't realize you've outgrown their reach. Your survival exposed everything they were hiding. It showed how much they underestimated you. It revealed the cracks in their confidence, the holes in their strategy, and the desperation behind their intentions. When the bullet misses you, it ricochets back into their ego, their assumptions, their narrative. They're left standing there stunned, trying to figure out why their certainty turned into confusion. This is the part that eats them up. You didn't need to fight, panic, or defend yourself. You simply existed in a level of alignment that made their best shot look sloppy. Nothing threatens an enemy more than failing at the one thing they thought they had control over. They thought you were fragile. You turned out to be reinforced. They assumed you were unaware. You were 10 steps ahead without even trying. The miss wasn't random. It was a spotlight on their incompetence. Your protection embarrassed their efforts. Your resilience humbled their intentions. And your survival forced them to face an uncomfortable truth. The person they thought they could break no longer exists. You're stronger, wiser, and more spiritually supported than they ever accounted for. That bullet missing you was the universe's way of saying, you're not the one who's weak, they are. Number 2, you walked away untouched because the danger wasn't strong. It was miscalculated. Most people think surviving a threat is about luck or being faster than the danger. That's not the full story. The truth is that the danger itself was never as powerful as it pretended to be. The bullet, the betrayal, the attack, whatever it was, carried more illusion than substance. It looked lethal because someone wanted it to look lethal. They built it up in their mind and in yours, feeding the narrative that you were at risk. But reality doesn't follow fear. Reality doesn't care about the drama someone else wrote. And in the end, the bullet missed because it was never aimed correctly at the real you. Those who try to hurt you often operate on assumptions. They study patterns, they calculate weaknesses, and they design attacks based on what they think will work. But they fail to account for the fact that you're not predictable. You don't respond according to their expectations. You don't act according to their timeline. By the time the danger reaches you, you've already shifted, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and the attack becomes obsolete. It's not about dodging, it's about being inherently out of reach because you exist on a level they never measured. The most remarkable part of your survival is that it didn't require struggle. It didn't require fighting, flinching, or scrambling. The danger was strong in appearance only. The weapon, the plan, the threat, it only looked powerful because they overestimated their own control and underestimated your alignment. Every move they made was slightly off, every calculation slightly wrong, and that tiny margin of error was enough for the universe to keep you untouched. When you walk away unscathed from something that was supposed to harm you, it sends a message far deeper than you survived. It exposes miscalculation. It reveals overconfidence. It unmasks the flaws of those who thought they could reach you. Surviving in these moments is not just about preservation. It's about demonstrating that strength isn't always about force. Sometimes it's about the inherent mismatch between a threat and the person it's aimed at. You were never in its reach because the danger never understood you. It wasn't strong enough, it was misjudged, and that miscalculation became your protection. Number 3, the miracle wasn't that you survived, it's that you stayed sane in terrain designed to erase you. Survival is often celebrated like it's just a physical outcome, like someone escaped a bullet or a trap. But the real miracle is not in the escape. It's in maintaining your mind, your clarity, your sense of self while everything around you is designed to destroy it. The terrain you move through isn't always visible. Some threats are emotional, some are psychological, some are spiritual. They creep in quietly, shaping your world to make you doubt yourself, question your worth, and feel cornered. The danger is layered, subtle, and relentless. Many people would have cracked under the pressure long before anything tangible reached them. Yet here you are, untouched, whole, and still capable of thinking clearly. That is where your true miracle lies. To navigate this terrain without losing yourself requires a level of awareness and inner discipline most people never achieve. You didn't just survive a moment. You survived the build-up, the manipulation, the quiet attacks that are meant to break the human spirit slowly without leaving evidence. Staying sane here is not just resisting fear, it's understanding fear, reading its patterns, and letting it pass through without leaving residue in your mind. That is a skill that most people only dream of, and yet it comes naturally to someone walking in alignment with their purpose. Your calm isn't weakness. It isn't luck. It isn't a fluke. It's the result of growing in a way that danger cannot reach. While others would be panicking, scrambling, and losing themselves in chaos, you stay rooted. Your mind becomes a sanctuary, untouchable and impenetrable. The miracle is amplified by the fact that survival alone could have been random, But sanity, keeping your mind intact, keeping your soul intact, keeping your decisions intact, is intentional. You didn't just escape. You refused to be erased. That is why your story carries weight. It's not just about dodging attacks. It's about demonstrating that someone can face extreme threats, navigate terrain built to destroy them, and still emerge with a clear mind and a strong spirit. That is rare. That is extraordinary. That is the part of your miracle no one can take away. Number 4, your near miss exposed the timeline you grew out of. That close call wasn't coincidence or chaos. It was a clear marker that you are no longer living in the version of life that danger was designed for. That moment didn't just prove you survived. It proved you evolved past the point where that threat could even recognize you. The danger wasn't delayed. It wasn't weakened. It was simply calibrated to an older version of you, a version that no longer exists. You didn't escape. You outgrew the moment itself. Every major shift in your life comes with a test that belongs to a past timeline. Old patterns try to reattach themselves. Old traps try to pull you back in. Old enemies try to take one last shot. That near miss was a collision between who you used to be and who you've become. The threat was aimed at a person who was more naive, more accessible, more vulnerable, more predictable. Yet you've moved into a version of yourself that no longer operates on those frequencies. So when the danger came, it couldn't land because you no longer stand where you once did. Growth isn't just internal. It affects everything around you. Your intuition sharpens. Your reflexes change. Your environment rearranges itself. You stop responding to things you used to fall for. You stop entertaining the people you used to tolerate. You move with a kind of intelligence that danger can't keep up with. The bullet didn't miss because it was slow. It missed because you're no longer in the timeline where that bullet had access to you. This is the part people don't talk about. Evolution makes certain attacks impossible. Your spirit advances faster than the plots formed against you. Your mindset upgrades faster than people's expectations of who you should be. Your path stretches faster than the traps set on your old route. What almost hit you belonged to a life you already left behind. Your near miss was the universe confirming your progress. It showed you that you're not repeating cycles, you're surpassing them. It showed you that the threats aimed at your old self can't penetrate your new identity. And it reminded you that when you grow, the past loses its grip, its aim, and its effect. You didn't dodge the bullet. You simply no longer live where it was sent. Number 5. Spiritual precision is why you survive battles you're not even aware you're in. Most people think survival is about reacting, dodging, running, defending. But for someone chosen and spiritually aligned, survival happens long before danger even forms. There's a level of protection around you that moves with complete accuracy, blocking threats before they become visible, cutting off betrayals before they unfold, and closing doors that were designed to harm you disguised as opportunities. You think you've only dodged danger once or twice, but the truth is that you've been shielded from countless invisible hits, the ones that never reached your awareness because your spirit intercepted them first. There are people who plan to use you, manipulate you, or drain you, but something in your energy made them hesitate. There were environments meant to break you, but something told you not to stay long. There were conversations designed to trap you, but your intuition pushed you to keep quiet or walk away. That's spiritual precision, the unseen intelligence guiding your steps, your decisions, your timing. It's why certain friendships ended suddenly without explanation. It's why certain opportunities fell apart, even though they looked perfect. It's why certain people lost access to you without any drama. Your spirit recognized danger your eyes never saw. You don't realize how many battles were fought on your behalf because you've been conditioned to think danger only counts when you see it. But seen danger is amateur level. The real warfare happens in silence, in shifts, in instincts, in the uneasiness that makes you step back without knowing why. And every time that silent warning moved you, you avoided a disaster that someone else might still be recovering from. What's wild is that this protection doesn't come from paranoia or fear. It comes from alignment. When you're walking in your purpose, your spirit stays ahead of your body. It scans the room before you enter it. It senses people's intentions before they speak. It redirects your path with such accuracy that your life looks blessed, even when you don't know what you were protected from. So yes, you survived the obvious battles, but the real miracle is that your spirit has been winning the hidden ones long before they even reached your doorstep. Survival isn't an event for you. It's your operating system. It's your default frequency. Number 6, you weren't saved by luck. You were saved because your assignment isn't complete. People love to blame survival on luck. They say, "You're lucky you got out of that," as if the universe just tossed you a random favor. But what happened to you wasn't random at all. Luck is for games and lotteries. What saved you is the fact that your story still has chapters that haven't been written yet. Your life isn't running on chance, it's running on a blueprint. And that bullet, that betrayal, that incident wasn't strong enough to cancel what's already been scheduled for you. There are things you haven't accomplished yet, people you haven't impacted yet, doors you haven't walked through yet. Whether you realize it or not, there is an assignment attached to your name, something only you can do in the way you can do it. And when a chosen one has purpose, purpose becomes a shield. The threat wasn't denied because it wasn't real. It was denied because it didn't fit into the timeline of your destiny. The moment danger shows up, it reveals something deeper. What you carry is too valuable to be taken out prematurely. Purpose doesn't let anything end you before the appointed time. It doesn't matter how sharp the attack looked or how close it got. There are certain things your spirit simply refuses to allow. You're not here to exist, you're here to fulfill. And until that fulfillment shows up in the physical, every attempt to stop you becomes part of the confirmation that you are needed. People think survival is proof of strength, but sometimes it's proof of assignment. When you walked away from that moment, it wasn't just evidence that you were protected. It was a reminder that the universe is not done using you. You have too much wisdom that hasn't been spoken yet. Too much light that hasn't been seen yet. Too many breakthroughs that haven't reached the people connected to you. Purpose rejects expiration dates. It refuses to let you go until the job is done. The bullet wasn't the end. It was the announcement that your life still has work to do and nothing gets to interrupt that. Number 7, every time danger misses you, something inside you upgrades. When a close call passes you, it's easy to think the moment is over and done with. People assume that if the danger didn't touch your body, then it left no trace. But chosen ones live a different reality. Whenever something meant to break you fails, it doesn't just vanish into thin air. It transforms into something you can use. The threat that tried to collapse you ends up feeding your growth. The energy meant to harm you becomes the wisdom that strengthens you. And without even realizing it, a part of you upgrades every single time danger loses its aim. The intuition you walk with today wasn't something you were born knowing. It was crafted through the near misses you survived. Every close call sharpened your senses. Every attack that couldn't land taught you how to read rooms faster, feel shifts sooner, and spot intentions long before someone acts on them. You're not jumpy. You're informed. You're not paranoid. You're seasoned. The bullet didn't hit your body, but it hit your awareness, and your awareness never went back to sleep. Discernment works the same way. People wonder how you can pick up on lies so quickly or sense bad energy before it reaches your doorstep. They think you're lucky or too sensitive. But what they don't understand is that you earned that discernment. It was built from moments when your spirit felt what your eyes couldn't see yet. Every close encounter fine-tuned your ability to separate truth from manipulation, sincerity from performance, loyalty from convenience. What missed you externally refined you internally. And then there's your spine, the strength you carry now. It's not the kind of strength that makes noise. It's a quiet, grounded firmness that comes from surviving things you don't even talk about. Each time danger failed to take you out, it reinforced your backbone. It made you stand taller, move wiser, and trust yourself more. You don't bend the way you used to because your spirit got conditioned to resist pressure, not collapse under it. The miracle is this: the danger didn't touch your body, but it still changed you. Not through harm, through transformation. Every miss became an upgrade. Every escape became an elevation. And every moment you walked away untouched became another layer of strength written into your spirit. Number 8. The enemy's failure wasn't random. You became too aligned to be touched. There comes a point in your growth where your alignment becomes its own armor. Not the kind you wear physically, but the kind that shifts the entire atmosphere around you. When you reach that level, interference doesn't just fail. It loses the ability to connect with you at all. The threat wasn't avoided because you ducked at the right moment or got lucky. It missed because you stepped into a version of yourself that danger simply cannot attach itself to. Alignment is powerful. It pulls you into the right places, the right timing, the right decisions without forcing anything. You start moving with a rhythm that matches your purpose. And when that happens, anything out of sync with you slips off naturally. The bullet, that attack, that setup, that betrayal didn't reach you because your energy no longer matches the environment where those weapons are effective. You elevated into a lane where low-frequency attacks can't operate. They try, but there's no point of contact anymore. People underestimate how much becomes impossible once you step into your true identity. The old you lived in fear, second-guessing, hesitation, and doubt. That version would have been easier to hit, but the version you've grown into isn't fueled by fear anymore. You don't shrink when things get intense. You don't fold when you feel pressured. You don't lower yourself to fit into places that don't align with your spirit. And because you refuse to shrink, the attack had nothing to latch onto. It wasn't just blocked. It bounced off the person you've become. That's the part the enemy never sees coming. They plan for the old you. They aim at the version you outgrew months ago. They execute strategies based on a history that no longer represents your reality. So when they launch their attack and see you still standing, still glowing, still protected, they're left confused. They think the weapon malfunctioned. But the truth is simpler. You ascended beyond their range. Alignment builds a shield that can't be explained physically. It's spiritual accuracy. It's internal clarity. It's the kind of growth that rewrites your destiny so completely that danger loses the coordinates to find you. The bullet didn't miss. You moved into a life where it could never land. Number 9. Surviving wasn't the surprise. What shocked the universe was your calm before the chaos. Most people fall apart the moment something goes wrong. Their heartbeat spikes, their thoughts scatter, and panic takes over before the threat even shows its full face. But you operate differently. Long before the chaos tried to touch you, there was a stillness inside you that refused to be moved. You didn't flinch, crumble, or spiral into fear. You paused, you breathed, you listened. And that calm, that unexplainable stillness, is what redirected everything in your favor. Your reaction wasn't normal, and that's exactly what made it powerful. Instead of letting the noise dictate your next move, you tuned into the quiet voice inside that has been guiding you your entire life. It isn't loud, it isn't dramatic, it isn't emotional. It's steady, subtle, and precise. It doesn't explain itself. It simply leads you away from what could destroy you and pulls you toward what will protect you. That internal signal is the very thing most people ignore. They second-guess it, doubt it, override it. But you've learned to trust it, even when it doesn't make sense on the surface. You've learned that logic will analyze danger, but intuition anticipates it. And because you listened inwardly instead of reacting outwardly, you placed yourself in a position where danger couldn't succeed, even if it wanted to. That calm before the chaos wasn't weakness or denial. It was spiritual intelligence. It was your higher self stepping forward before your physical self even understood what was happening. That's why people around you may not understand how you stay so centered when things look unpredictable. They don't know the relationship you have with your inner compass. They don't know how many times it saved you without ever announcing itself. What shocked the universe wasn't your survival. Chosen ones are built for survival. What shocked the universe was how aligned, steady, and guided you were, even as the storm tried to form around you. Your calm wasn't passive, it was protective. It kept your energy clear, your judgment sharp, and your spirit open enough to sense the shift before the shift became visible. You didn't just make it out, you made it out with a peace that danger couldn't disturb. And that's what truly unsettles everything that tries to come against you. Number 10, the attack didn't miss you. It exposed everyone who wanted it to hit. That moment of survival didn't just protect you. It revealed the truth about the people standing close enough to see the setup, but far enough to avoid getting their hands dirty. Some of the shock you saw wasn't concern. It was disappointment disguised as surprise. The attack became a filter, showing you exactly who was quietly invested in your downfall, who was watching to see if the damage would validate the stories they've told about you, and who was hoping you wouldn't walk away from that moment at all. Your escape peeled the mask off people who were pretending to clap for you. It unmasked the ones who smiled in your face but kept silent prayers for your failure tucked beneath their breath. It forced hidden intentions into the light. While some people were relieved you made it out, others were irritated because your survival disrupted the narrative they were secretly building. They weren't prepared for you to rise from something they assumed would humble you or silence you. The attack didn't just fail. It exposed the spiritual spectators in the stands, the ones who waited for confirmation that you're not as strong, protected, or chosen as you seem. They wanted the outcome to match their expectations. They wanted the hit to land because it would have justified their resentment. But what they got instead was a miracle they can't explain, a level of protection they can't imitate, and a reminder that their opinions have no authority over your destiny. And now, when they look at you, it's not admiration they feel, it's exposure. Because your survival shines a bright spotlight on the intentions they tried to hide behind jokes, subtle comments, or quiet withdrawals. They can't pretend anymore. The disappointment in their eyes tells you everything you need to know, not about you, but about them. It reveals the jealousy they never admitted, the disbelief they tried to mask, and the bitterness they've been carrying like a badge. That close call didn't just show you who your enemies were. It showed you who you could no longer trust with your spirit, your dreams, or your presence. And in a way, that revelation was a blessing, because sometimes the greatest protection isn't dodging the bullet. It's discovering the people who waited for it to land. Number 11. You didn't dodge the bullet. You elevated above its trajectory. People keep trying to figure out how you're still standing, how you keep moving forward when the circumstances were lined up to wipe you out. What they fail to understand is that your survival has nothing to do with speed or strategy. It has everything to do with altitude. You didn't bend, twist, or sidestep anything. You rose, and when you rise, the weapons meant for you lose their coordinates. Low-frequency attacks cannot strike someone who no longer lives where they were sent. Envy, lies, manipulation, spiritual traps, all of it operates at ground level. But your spirit doesn't. You ascended to a place where you no longer share the same emotional air with people who intend to harm you. Their weapons don't malfunction. They simply cannot function at the altitude where your soul now operates. What they sent couldn't land because you moved into a version of yourself that is fundamentally unreachable. Your elevation wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't something you posted about or announced. It was internal, quiet, organic. A shift that came from surviving battles that reshaped your intuition, tightened your boundaries, and sharpened your awareness. That kind of growth doesn't make noise, but it changes everything. Your spirit grew so fast and so high that the attack was outdated before it even launched. That's why people look confused when you walk into the room unshaken. They expected wounds where there are none. They expected fear where there is calm. They expected collapse where there is clarity. They aren't witnessing luck. They're witnessing what it looks like when someone rises above the line of fire and starts living in alignment with their higher purpose. Elevation makes you untouchable, not by force, but by vibration. It changes what you respond to. It changes what can reach you. It changes who has access to your energy. This is why old threats don't hit the way they used to. You're no longer spiritually standing on the same floor where they were aimed. Your survival confuses people because they don't realize you're not surviving by dodging. You're surviving by transcending. And once you ascend, even the most perfectly aimed bullet becomes irrelevant because you're no longer anywhere near its path. Number 12. Your survival is now a mirror, making your enemies uncomfortable. The reason your escape rattled people so deeply is because it forced them to confront the part of themselves they work hard to hide. They didn't just witness you survive. They witnessed the collapse of everything they predicted about you. They watched the trap they quietly believed would swallow you whole fail in real time, and that failure reflected back on them with brutal clarity. When someone counts on your downfall, your survival becomes a personal attack on their ego. They weren't shocked because the danger was serious. They were shocked because their assumptions were. They sized you up based on old memories, old mistakes, old wounds. They judged you using outdated measurements. And when you walked away unharmed, it exposed how wrong they were about you. Not just today, but for years. That's the kind of revelation that bruises a person's pride, especially those who secretly rooted for the worst. Your survival didn't just protect you, it revealed them. It highlighted the whispers they thought you didn't hear, the jokes they thought didn't reach you, the energy they thought you couldn't feel. They saw the timing of the trap. They saw how perfectly it was set. They saw how the circumstances lined up as if everything was working against you. And then they saw you walk away with the kind of calm that can't be explained, only respected or feared. That moment became a mirror they never wanted to look into. Because if you can survive what should have taken you out, what does that say about the limits they placed on you? What does that say about the narratives they believed? What does that say about the way they underestimated your resilience, your intuition, your inner strength? They weren't just wrong. They were publicly, painfully wrong. And the worst part for them is this: your survival proved you're protected by something they can't manipulate, negotiate with, or sabotage. Divine intervention is the one force that can't be bribed, bullied, or blocked. So when the attack failed, it wasn't just a missed attempt. It was a humiliation. Not for you, but for them. Now every time they look at you, they see a reminder that they had a front row seat to a downfall that never happened. They saw the setup, but they didn't get the outcome. That's why they're uneasy. Your survival shattered their expectations and forced them to face the truth. If divine protection stands with you, there's nothing they can build that can touch you. Number 13. You're a miracle because you're the only one in the room who understands what almost happened. People see your recovery, not the reality you escaped. They see your smile and assume you were never close to breaking. They watch you stand tall and think the situation couldn't have been that bad. They admire your strength, your bounce back, your calm. But they have no idea about the private storm you survived, the one you don't talk about because you're still processing how close it came to taking you out. You're a miracle not because you avoided destruction, but because you're fully aware of how narrowly you walked past it. No one else knows about the moment your spirit braced itself. Nobody witnessed the part where your mind started preparing for the worst, when your heart dropped into that quiet space where you almost began letting go. That mental funeral, the one you already started planning in your head, is something you never verbalized because it felt too heavy to explain. It wasn't just fear, it was acceptance of a possibility so dark you refused to let anyone else see it. And then somehow, everything shifted before the damage touched you. That's why your gratitude hits differently. It's not surface-level thankfulness. It's not a pretty Bible verse you post online or a polite "God is good" you say out of habit. No, your gratitude is raw. It's rooted. It's tied to the memory of a moment that almost swallowed you. You don't praise because life is easy. You praise because life could have gone another way and you're still stunned it didn't. Others may underestimate the weight of what you carry because they didn't feel the silence between your inhale and your exhale. They didn't see the flash of what could have happened. They weren't there when your intuition screamed louder than logic. They didn't notice how your hands trembled afterward, even though you played it cool. They don't understand the spiritual exhaustion that follows a battle your body didn't even get a scratch from. Your survival looks simple to them because they only see the aftermath. But you know the truth. You know what almost broke your timeline. You know how that close call rearranged your spirit, sobered your mind, and sharpened your discernment. You know the weight of the moment you'll never forget, the one that taught you just how protected, guided, and chosen you truly are. Number 14. The bullet wasn't meant to end you. It was meant to activate you. That moment wasn't designed to destroy you. It was designed to jolt you into the version of yourself you'd been delaying, denying, or dimming. Some awakenings don't arrive through calm mornings or gentle revelations. Some awakenings crash into your life like a warning shot, a message that your spirit has outgrown your circumstances, your circle, and your old identity. What almost ended you became the alarm clock that shook your soul awake. You didn't rise because things were peaceful. You rose because you came face to face with a moment that forced you to confront who you really are, beneath the fear, beneath the habits, beneath the softness you used to wear to keep the world comfortable. That brush with catastrophe sharpened you in ways comfort never could. It stripped away your hesitation and turned your intuition into your main compass. It burned off the parts of you that were still negotiating with danger, still tolerating disrespect, still second-guessing your own power. After that moment, something in you stopped asking for permission. Your clarity became cleaner. Your boundaries became louder. Your voice became rooted. You didn't just become stronger. You became spiritually fortified. The kind of fortified that doesn't flinch when the room shifts. The kind that sees betrayal from miles away. The kind that moves with a knowing that can't be taught, only earned through survival. What was sent to silence, you ended up awakening the version of you that refuses to shrink, refuses to settle, and refuses to be played with. That near ending rearranged your inner wiring. It made you conscious of what truly matters, what drains your soul, and what deserves no more of your energy. It replaced people-pleasing with discernment. It swapped timidity for authority. It pulled you out of who you used to be and pushed you into who you were born to be. You're not walking around with random wisdom. You're carrying knowledge birthed from collision, from threat, from spiritual intervention. That's why your presence feels heavier now. That's why your spirit feels older. That's why your steps feel intentional. You didn't just survive the bullet. You became activated by the impact it never got to make. Your awakening was forged in the fire that failed to consume you. Conclusion: you are the walking miracle. The universe couldn't break. Every close call you've survived, every attack that missed, every betrayal that failed, has been far more than chance. It's been proof that you are operating on a frequency the world can't touch. You didn't merely dodge bullets. You exposed weaknesses, revealed intentions, and upgraded your spirit in ways that no one else could witness. Each near miss became a lesson. Each threat transformed into wisdom. Each moment of danger reshaped your identity. You have learned to move beyond fear, to rise above timelines that no longer fit you, and to stand in alignment with a purpose that refuses to be interrupted. Your survival has done something remarkable. It has become a mirror showing others the limits of their cruelty, their envy, and their underestimation of your power. Every person who once plotted against you, who hoped to see you falter, is now confronted with a truth they can't escape. You are untouchable, not because you're lucky, but because your spirit is divinely orchestrated, your timing perfect, and your awareness unshakable. You've walked through storms that should have destroyed you and emerged stronger, wiser, and more aligned than ever. You are a living testament to the truth that the universe doesn't fail its chosen ones. It protects them, empowers them, and elevates them beyond the reach of low-frequency attacks. The lesson here is profound. Your survival is not just about escaping danger. It's about growth, activation, and revelation. Every encounter that almost broke you didn't just leave you standing. It rewired you, it clarified your purpose, and it made you unrecognizable to those who thought they could predict your journey. You are a walking miracle, a force the universe respects, and a light that can't be dimmed by fear, envy, or deceit. If this message resonates with you, and you're ready to step fully into your power, remember to subscribe to the channel so you never miss content that speaks directly to your spiritual elevation. Like this video if it reminds you of your divine protection. Comment below to share your own moments of survival and awakening. Your story matters. And share this video with anyone who needs to see the truth. Some souls are untouchable, and some miracles walk among us every single day. Your presence is proof of that. God bless you.